This week on the Steam Machine podcast, a smashing blast from the past. Cue the music. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Steam Machine podcast. My name is Dalton, and joining me as always are my good buddies.
It's the Brothers of Destruction again, Nate.
Guess who's back? Back again. Willie's back. Tell your friends to listen to the previous two episodes that didn't have the guy with the bad voice.
Pyro.
Pyro. Strokes. Let's go.
It feels good to be back, gentlemen. It feels good to be back. How you guys doing this week?
The trio's back together. I am happy to have it, man. I have been sick. I've been just dealing with a lot, and I am glad that I'm 100% and I'm ready to record one, boys.
Heck yeah, we're glad you're back, man. It was fun. Yeah. Wasn't bad doing episodes with just the two of us, but it always feels a lot better when you're here.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm looking forward to listening to those two. You know, I'm a little bit behind. Don't listen to it.
How dare you, sir?
I'm behind on every podcast. Look, I'm a lot closer to caught up on this than I am on the Adventure Zone.
Yeah.
I have like 12 episodes back on that shit.
Yeah, that's like me and Tell 'em Steve Dave. I've got like half a year worth of Tell 'em Steve Dave to listen to. It's been sad. Real quick, I just want to go ahead and get this out of the way here in the beginning. Because I'll forget it if I don't. I want to give a quick update on the Fantasy League before we jump into what we've been doing this week.
Yeah.
Did you finally have a game released?
We had a game release. We did.
All right.
The Steam Machines Bangin' Gamin'. Ollie Ollie World came out.
Okay.
And Ollie Ollie World got an 85.
Ooh, very good.
So that's what, plus 10?
Plus
right?
15.
That's 15 points, buddy.
Okay,
right
it's
out,
off at 70. Okay.
Right out the box. Let's see, some other releases came out this week, so let me try to find them really quick. Sifu, which I guess is a martial arts fighting brawler type game, for Oregon Donor, which I believe is Jeremy, got a 79.
Respectable.
So it's serviceable. Yes, but definitely respectable. Chad from Skulltula Fuckers, 'cause I love that name. He picked Windjammers 2 and Dying Light 2 Stay Human.
Ooh.
Dying Light 2 got a 77, and Windjammers 2 got a 78.
Okay.
So not bad.
I would have taken Windjammers personally. I thought that like, as a sequel to a cult hit like that, I figured it would be, like, just critical candy.
Yeah. It didn't go as high as I thought it would, but it got decent. I was thinking that both of those would be at least an 80.
80, yeah.
Personally. And as far as pickups... Phil went hard trying to make up for that Babylon's Fall thing. And he picked up Crusader Kings 3 Royal Court, Lost Judgment, The Kaito Files, Trek to Yomi, and Oxenfree 2 The Lost Signals.
Holy shit.
Well, he's going to have some fun, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got 2 open slots left, and I hope he saves them.
There's no way Crusader Kings is anything but a fucking baller game. Like, I can't imagine Crusader Kings coming out and being like, oh, critics hate this one.
oh, I'm sorry. Oregon Donor, Jeremy from Oregon, also Pokemon Legends Arceus got an 85. So
genuinely surprised it's not higher.
Yeah. The one that I'm worried about that he's got is Stalker 2. Because that's probably going to be all. I hope that game's awesome. But he's also got Stranger of Paradise. So I'm hoping to make some counterpoints on that motherfucker. But yeah. That's about it. I think I mentioned 2 Point Campus that Mike picked up last week.
Yeah.
And immediately I'm like, holy shit, there's a 2 Point Campus game. That's amazing. But yeah, it's been fun so far. I have not made any bids between us and the listeners because I don't think anybody but Mike listens. So if he wants to counterpick me, that's cool. But whatever. I'm thinking about snagging Elix too. But
Elix.
I haven't done it yet. So Elix was like the sequel to the Gothic series, basically, or the successor to the Gothic series.
Gotcha.
Which actually, I guess technically not Riven, that was missed.
You clown.
Is it called Riven? Hold on.
Riven was the missed sequel.
Oh shit!
Or
I don't know. There's another sequel to Gothic, but it starts with an R, but I can't remember what it is, and I'm not going to spend the time to look it up. Well, what have you guys been playing this week? Either of you been playing anything? Well, Nate, I know what you've been playing, so go ahead.
Yeah, I've been going hard on Pokemon Legend Arceus. I think I'm about at the end of the game. I have just caught a very important legendary Pokemon before I started recording with y'all tonight. But the one thing I think is really cool about that game so far is it's given me appreciation for Pokemon I never really cared too much about before, which is always a pretty cool feeling. It's like early on in the game, so this doesn't count as a spoiler because this is like in the second area of the game. I picked up an Alpha Hippowdon, which is Hippowdon's a Pokemon I never really cared anything about. It just kind of existed. I didn't like it, didn't hate it, just existed. I love this dude in this game. He's so good.
So what is an Alpha Pokemon?
So Alpha in this game is like there's giant versions of Pokemon that are really high level for the area you're in that basically are just like, you're basically like, I'm trying to think of a good way to describe it. So if there was like a Titan running through an area of Pokemon.
Yeah. So I saw like...
Was it kind of like in Xenoblade Chronicles where there's like a way high level version of the monsters running around or something like that?
I have heard people compare this game to Xenoblade. So yeah.
Oh, shit. That's kind of awesome.
Yeah, so for instance, like this Hippowdon, I think when I caught it was level 40 in an area with like level 15 level Pokemon. So like I think it took me like 5 Pokemon to get him low enough to the point where I could actually catch him.
What's the evolution of Shinx?
He goes to Luxio, then to Luxray.
Okay, I think it was a
Luxray. Okay.
I think it was a Luxray. I was this right when I started, dude. Some of my Pokemon were like level 6 and 7, and I saw one of those big fuckers, and I was like, "Oh man, I should probably run by him." And I didn't run by him fast enough, and I went into a battle, and he fucking killed all my Pokemon.
Oh man, speaking of Pokemon too, like I don't know how I've gotten this awesome of luck in the last couple days, but I play Pokemon Go also, and I caught 2 shiny Pokemon day after day. Like I caught a shiny Electabuzz yesterday and a shiny Natu today. So I was pretty stoked about those pickups too, because shinies are not easy to find in Pokemon Go.
What does a shiny Electabuzz even look like?
It's kind of like a reddish color.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I always wonder like what's the rate of seeing a shiny in some of the games, like the games themselves.
I mean, it's well under 1%, I believe.
Yeah, I think at least at the start, I think it was literally 1 in 256.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the first shiny was in gold, right? And it was the Gyarados that you could find that was red, right?
I think there was more than one of them, but I think I think shinies first appeared in gold silver.
I know red, but the red Gyarados was definitely the one that is the biggest deal.
Oh yeah, I always snag him. I save before I go out swimming in that lake because I'm like, no, I'm gonna catch him. There is no just defeat him and let him go. No, that's not a thing.
So Arceus is doing you pretty nicely then. It sounds like they've got they just added a lot of weight to stuff that didn't have weight to it before. Like you can catch trash Pokemon and use that for research, and it's like fun and interesting. It sounds like random battles just have more of a feel of being interesting in general.
Yeah, and there's ways to gain experience for your Pokemon that don't involve like battling. So like if there's like a mineral deposit you want to get, you can throw one of your Pokemon at it and it'll break the mineral deposit and you'll get the items you need to craft things later in the game, and that also gives the Pokemon that got that for you some experience. So it's really cool that like I don't have to worry about battling everything to level up my Pokemon when I can just throw some out here and there and get some experience.
It allows me to play out what used to happen in my head when I was out in my backyard playing Pokemon. You know what I'm saying?
So you don't think that there's going to be more Pokemon Legends games in future?
There better be. I can't see this doing poorly in a way that's going to make them think, no, let's just shelf this and never do this again. I can't see them doing that. I think it's reinvigorated a lot of people in the Pokemon community and gotten a lot of people excited. If they dropped it now, I think it'd be a huge mistake.
This isn't Let's Go Pikachu. This isn't fucking
no, but
Pokemon Pinball.
I can tell
that's really going to be a thing.
I can tell what they learned from Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu though, because like there are some elements of that are still around, but they're just way more polished and better now.
That's awesome. I'm really glad that people are like able to engage with this world. Like it feels like people are really reaching the Generation 4 world, I think is what Legends Arceus is in? Sinnoh. But basically there's like people have a much more of a relationship with Sinnoh than they ever had before, and that's just like super
Which
cool.
I think they were brilliant that they put this out, Pokemon Shining Pearl and Brilliant Diamond, before this came out, because I'd never played Pearl or Diamond before.
Oh, I didn't even realize there was a connection. Okay, so the generation that they remade is also the generation that Arceus.
Yeah, I think that was
awesome.
A brilliant decision, because I think I'm appreciating Arceus even more from having played Shining Pearl for the first time just a few months ago, because like all this lore, it all makes a lot more sense. Like I don't think you need it necessarily to enjoy yourself playing the game, but as somebody that didn't play that generation of Pokemon games, I get what's going on in a little bit deeper level than just anybody just starting out would. So I think that was a brilliant idea, putting that out first.
Yeah, and I never played Pearl or what was
Diamond.
the other one? Sorry,
Diamond.
Jesus Christ, Diamond. But I did play a ROM hack back in the day called Light Platinum, which I recommend to fucking anybody. It's the best ROM hack of Pokemon I've ever played. But it had up to Generation 6 Pokemon in there. So there was like 800 Pokemon or something that you could catch. So I've seen these Pokemon in sprite form. So when I see them now, I'm like, oh shit, there's such and such. Oh, look at, like, Shinx is fucking adorable. Mean little fucker, but he's adorable. But yeah, I've been playing some of that, and I've also been emulating on Decimu, I think is how you pronounce it. I don't know. It's a DS simulator. I'm doing Heart Gold.
Nice.
Because
going way back.
I never got to play the remake of that, and Gold's my favorite game. Because that was my first big one that I had. You know, and I fucking loved it.
I guess we've all been going back to revisit old shit too, because the thing I've been playing lately has been a Doom mod called The Long Trek Back Home, and it's basically at the end of Doom 2, after you beat the Icon of Sin, you're walking back through the levels that have been destroyed by the devastation of all that.
That sounds really cool, actually.
That does sound cool.
It's really neat, because it's not just like the levels played backwards. Like they've added a bunch of like new pathways, and like it references the levels, but like in such a way that like they feel like weird liminal spaces almost. Like there's a little sense you get when you're playing the game that's like, the game is over, there's no game left, leave, get out of here. Like it's weirdly foreboding, and like in a really awesome way.
Yeah, I can imagine playing through that and going back through the Crusher level would be really interesting.
I'm looking forward to getting to there. That's still quite a long way off. I'm only up to Blood Falls right
and I know
now,
that's like closer to the beginning of Doom 2 than the end. So,
but I'm looking forward to Crusher. That actually is like one of my favorite levels. So
now, are there enemies for you to fight still, or is it just literally?
The levels have been repopulated, and the enemies left are. It is a little bit more difficult than the original Doom. Like I'm playing on Hurt Me Plenty, and it's significantly harder than UV was on the original.
I was just curious if it was just like, for some reason, like the way you described it, I was picturing it like a walking simulator in like a Doom.
Yeah,
where you just
it feels that way. It feels that way at first, and then you start running into resistance. It's really well done. Like,
oh yeah,
I don't know. Like it's hard to explain, but like I'm really enjoying like the vibes that it puts out. Like the only reason I'm stuck on Blood Falls is just because that's like a level I never enjoyed that much in the first place too. So I'll like play it once I die. I'm like, yeah, fuck it. I don't like Blood Falls.
Yeah, I can imagine you getting similar vibes when you go to like this downtown type levels.
Hey, guess what? Barrels of Fun is coming up soon. Yay! Although I've heard that they actually did something really neat with Barrels of Fun, so I'm actually looking forward to that
Nice.
one.
I beat the story in Judonia today.
Nice.
Well,
Oh, Grass, I saw you were playing that.
the story so far. So like I got to a point in the main quest line where the guy's like, "This is what I've done so far. I hope you enjoyed it. More will be coming soon. But for now, you can go do world events and dungeons and side quests." And I was like, "Oh, cool. Okay, that works for me." I do recommend that, and I believe I don't know if there still is. There was a bundle on Fanatical where you could get 3 games for $9.99, and one of them is Judonia. So if anybody wanted to, snag it, it's quite fun. It's made by one dude, and it's hella impressive for it being made by one guy. Like straight up, like there's some mistranslation stuff because I believe the dude's Russian, but like that doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I mean that'll get fixed later. It's an early access game.
We grew up in the era where mistranslations in video games was super common. I mean, come on.
All
And
your
plus,
base
like,
belong to us.
Zeroing, hell yeah. But like translations from Russian have not been that bad lately. Fucking Graveyard
Yeah.
Keeper was translated from a small group from Russian, and I thought that game's translation was really good.
Yeah.
The character came through.
Aye,
And the
comrade.
humor translated. Yeah.
Donkey.
Comrade Donkey. He's a good comrade Donkey. If you don't give him carrots, though, he does not do shit.
He comes from the left wing of the stable.
I also started fucking around with Onigiri, which is just like this free-to-play MMO that's based on Japanese mythology.
Isn't that a kind of sushi?
It is also
is.
a kind of
Okay.
sushi, yes. And because of this game, I've always wanted to eat onigiri. So basically, onigiri is like a Japanese handheld street food. It's like a sushi hot pocket.
Oh,
but
that
it's not
sounds
hot.
awesome.
Like they make a big triangle of rice with the sushi stuff in
Oh
the middle.
shit! It's that.
And then they
okay.
fold a piece of seaweed on there, and that's what you hold, and you just eat it.
Ah.
And
I've seen that in cartoons before. I just didn't know what it was called. I know what you're talking about. Like I could see like a cartoon drawing of it in my
Yeah.
head.
Oh, sure. If
And
you watch
there's
certain
also-
cartoons, they would have called it a type of donut.
It's a hamburger.
no shit. That's exactly in that episode he was eating onigiri.
Oh, was it onigiri in that episode? Okay.
Yeah, and they called it
Jelly donut.
fucking jelly donut.
They called it a jelly donut in Pokemon. They called it a hamburger in Digimon. It has been translated a bunch of goofy ways.
They just think we're too stupid to get it.
I mean, we are wicked
fair.
stupid. That's why we have a podcast.
And then there were 2 things that I wanted to touch on about my Skyrim this week, and then I will shut up about what I've been doing.
Oh,
But so
Pokemon has been killing my Skyrim time. I have not played any more Skyrim. I still haven't talked to the Greybeards.
I can't blame you. Like, Pokemon's awesome. That game's a blast. But so there's a mod that I have for a follower. His name's Lucian, and he's basically like a scholar type guy who wants to go around and travel with you and see these Dwemer ruins and things like that. And he's got a quest involved with him I won't go into because I don't want to spoil it for anybody who might want to check him out. But he's really cool. He's fully voiced, and
That's rad. I respect the shit out of modders that actually put in a fully voiced character, because you're putting your shit up against professional voice acting,
and it's usually better
in the fucking Elder Scrolls universe, which is one that's had Patrick Stewart do voices and shit like that. Linda Carter is in Skyrim.
Yeah.
Like, you are putting your face up against some heavy shit.
But one thing I like about Lucian is you can train him. Like, you can talk to him and train him in different stuff. So you can like make him better with two-handed. You can teach him spells. You can teach him to be better with armor. You can teach him how to sneak. And when you start teaching him how to sneak, and you guys are sneaking around together, he goes, "I am vengeance. I am the night. I am making noise. Oh my god, I am so sorry."
That's really good.
It cracks me up every time he says it, dude. Like, I just don't get tired of it. But yeah, he's one of my favorite followers. Another fully voiced follower I recommend is Inigo, who is a Khajiit. He's awesome. He's fully voiced. He's got like over 3,000 lines of dialogue.
Doesn't matter. The moment you say the name Inigo, immediately one voice pops
Yep.
right into my head.
And-
Mandy Patinkin.
Inigo Montoya.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father.
Well,
Prepare to die.
Well, my friend, Inigo kind of talks like this when he talks.
Okay.
He's this one. He doesn't say this one though. He'll be like,
to be fair, that is how Khajiit just talk.
Yeah, that does. Yeah, I could actually. Now that you mentioned it, Inigo Montoya could be a pretty good Khajiit.
So
okay, I'm down.
Inigo, one of the cool things is like he's programmed to say some shit you wouldn't even think of. Like one time, me and him
looking for the 21 clawed cat.
You're running around with him. I was running around with him one time, and I had changed some of his gear, and I had forgotten to give him boots, right? And we were running around, and I went to sleep in a bed, and we woke up, and I was getting ready to go out to the house, and Inigo goes, maybe today will be the day I finally find a pair of boots. And I looked at him, and he didn't have boots on. I went, oh, shit! So I gave him some boots. That's funny. Also, like, when you talk to him, he'll be like, I will hold anything you need, my friend, but if you give me a sweet roll, it will disappear. And sure as shit, if you give him sweet rolls, every now and then you'll look at him and he'll just be sitting over there eating a fucking sweet roll. Like, it's awesome. You, Inigo. And there's a couple other followers that I use that are cool, but they're not nearly as cool as Lucian and Inigo. But the other mod that I have that I would like to showcase this week is Beyond Skyrim Bruma, which puts the town of Bruma and the surrounding area from Oblivion, from Cyrodiil, into the world of Skyrim. So I think it's near Falkreath. You can head up into the mountains, and you can find the border to Cyrodiil. Now, you can do this in the main game. Like, there's the borders there. You walk over DLC, and it's like, you can't go any further. And you're just like, oh, okay, so it's like an invisible wall. Yeah. But the mod puts a place there where you can open the gate, and it takes you to another world space, and then you're in this part of Cyrodiil. Now, these modders are working on what is it called? Skyblivion, where they're trying to take Oblivion and redo it in Skyrim's engine like they did for Morrowind in Oblivion's engine. Because you can play more Oblivion, and you can play the entirety of Morrowind in Oblivion's engine.
That's wild.
So they're trying to do this with Morrowind and Oblivion in Skyrim, right?
Just making the ultimate Elder Scrolls game.
Right. That's basically what they're trying to do.
You log in and it's like, welcome to Daggerfall Arena, fucking.
It's like, yeah, they're making an offline Elder Scrolls Online map, right?
And it's also in Fallout 67 somehow.
But what's amazing to me about the Bruma thing is that, like, they have their loads, or LOD, like your low distance stuff off in the distance. And I had a tear, like a legit, like one little tear come to my eye when I ran over this hill, and off in the distance, in the pretty-ass graphics that I have on Skyrim, I saw the Imperial City off from Oblivion. Like, that opening scene where you see that, like, that's the shot you get when you come over this hill, is just the Imperial City sitting out there. And I was like, oh my God, that is so cool. And then I tried to run over to it, and of course I got to a point where it's like, you can't go any further. I was like, damn it! But running around in the Bruma area is quite cool.
Nice.
And then someone put you in a wagon and said, you're finally awake.
Dude, okay, so let me do this real quick. So I wanted to do I thought about streaming Oblivion, or doing maybe like a let's play of it. That way I can kind of role play my character and do voices and be silly with it, right? And then at the end, figure out some way to make it where I've sealed all the Oblivion gates, I've saved everything's done, but all of a sudden one Oblivion gate appears, right? And I go, well, that's like, my character would be like, that's weird, I thought I sealed all of these. And then he would walk through it, and it would do like the weird, like, woo time thing, right? And then it would come to black, and my character would be like, what in the and then you'd look up, and he'd be sitting in the back of that fucking wagon, and then just have it go, you're finally awake, and then end with the Skyrim music. And then that would be like the continuation, that would be that character going into Skyrim.
Nice.
So that would also give me a chance to fuck with my stats a little bit when I start Skyrim, so I don't have to start a complete fucking level 1 person. Like, all right, so what was I in Oblivion? Let me just, player, advanced skill, yeah, all that jazz.
They did change some of the skills between games, though, so you have to delete, like, the one that, I don't know, I think they deleted one.
There's a lot of skills that you don't have, like athletics and acrobatics and all that shit. It's all gone.
Make an athletics check, Dalton.
He rolls a D420.
Oh fuck, my D20 is way over there. Or I would totally roll that for you right now, but I it's too far out of
You know
reach.
what? I'll do it.
I didn't really have anything planned. I just wanted to make a joke. Keep going with the podcast.
I don't really have anything else to touch on before we get into this week's game, unless you guys do.
No, I'm good to hear some O-dubs.
All right. We got a double dose of O-dubs this week.
Double shot.
dose.
Gotta love it.
Oh, yeah, because we got the original and we got the reimagining. Let's go.
Yep. All right, so I'm going to start off with Crash Bandicoot, the N-Sane Trilogy, because that's what we used to play Crash Bandicoot 1 this week. And that was released in 2017. It was developed by Vicarious Visions, who I think did an absolutely banging job. It is a compilation of remasters from the first 3 games in the Crash Bandicoot series. Crash Bandicoot, Cortex Strikes Back, and Warped, which were all originally developed by Naughty Dog for the PlayStation. And some of you younger listeners might know Naughty Dog from Uncharted or The Last of Us.
Oh, shit. Yeah, damn. What an award-winning ass
No
studio.
kidding.
Right? This game was released as a timed exclusive for PlayStation 4. And then Windows, Switch, and Xbox One got it a year later.
A year later, yeah.
Received positive reviews from critics and sold over 10 million copies.
Can I also say, I think the idea of a timed exclusive where you get the game 1 year later, like, that seems kind of legit to me. You know what I mean? Like, it gives the console its own little bit of, like, special feeling, but, like, it doesn't lock everyone else out of the game. And I think that's, like, that's neat.
Yeah,
you know?
I can definitely dig it.
Looking at you, Ratchet and Clank and Persona 5. You motherfuckers come to PC so I can play you for this fucking show. The N-Sane Trilogy did change a couple things, which we'll touch on, but for now, we're going to hop over to our other O-dubs, which is Crash Bandicoot. Or I guess it would be more like Crash Bandicoot.
Do.
Is a 1996 platforming video game developed by Naughty Dog and published by Sony Computer Entertainment for the PlayStation, the original PlayStation. The game's premise chronicles the creation of titular tit.
He said tits.
Side note, GameSack, a YouTuber that I watch, anytime he has this little edit that anytime he says something like titular or anything like that, he just cuts to himself looking at himself going, "Did you just say tits?" And it cracks me up every time. But this game's premise involves the titular character Crash, a bandicoot, who would have guessed, who has been uplifted by the mad scientist Dr. Neocortex. The story follows Crash as he aims to prevent Cortex's plans for world domination and rescue his girlfriend Tawna, a female bandicoot.
Not appearing in future games.
Yeah, a female bandicoot who was way sexier than a bandicoot should be. So that's probably why she didn't appear in anything else.
The Candy Kong factor.
There could be a link between furries in this game.
It is my understanding that she's a little too Candy Kong, so they've replaced her with the Dixie Kong of Coco Bandicoot in future games.
Yeah, and Coco is actually in the remaster. You could play as her.
That's true. You got the time machine.
And I like Coco. She's a cool character. But yeah, so the game is played from a third-person perspective in which the camera trails behind Crash, though some levels showcase forward scrolling and sideward scrolling. Basically it was released to positive reviews, praised the game's graphics, presentation, audio, difficulty level, and the title character, but criticized its linearity and lack of innovation as a platforming game. Now, let's just stop right there. What game was like Crash Bandicoot before Crash Bandicoot?
There wasn't. Crash Bandicoot really was its own damn thing. Like, it wasn't a Mario clone. It wasn't a Sonic clone. It actually broke the mold where it had, like you said, the levels were kind of linear or whatever, but like the idea that there were side scrollers, forward scrollers, back scrollers, I guess you'd call the boulder level, like nothing like that in any of those other games. So I'm really confused where it said it didn't do any innovation. I can't think of any other game that played like Crash Bandicoot.
It plays like a 3Dized version of a Donkey Kong Country or Super Mario World type game. I mean, there's very precise jumping to the point where it's sometimes like single block level precision. Like, it is still a platformer, and I think that the complaint that they had was, why are we still having platformers when we are in 3D now? It's a facile and stupid complaint, but I do think the gameplay does not transcend games that existed before it.
Fun fact about precise jumping in Crash Bandicoot. In the original Crash games, everything back then was squares.
Yeah.
So in the remaster, they're pills. So there's this rounded edge, so you don't have that where you can like land with Crash's tiptoes and be all right in the remaster. Like, you'll fall the fuck off. That fucked up a lot of people. Apparently, like speedrunners and stuff, when the remasters came out and they were going to try to just play Crash the way they knew how, and suddenly these jumps that they knew they could land, they couldn't anymore because those blocks were just slightly different, and if you landed on them the way you used to, instead of just being like, I'm all right, keep going, it was just like you just landed and slip and you die.
That's ironic because, like, I feel like pill-shaped collision is actually smarter, but as a game player, I expect square collision.
Yeah, and I can definitely see that being really tricky for somebody that's already has something so memorized like a speedrunner going to that, because that changes a lot of the way you've played the game.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not one that speedrun like 3D platformers or anything, but I can only imagine that would be pretty wild to get used to.
But the important thing to note is that this game is not just a graphical remaster. They literally recoded, rebuilt the levels, everything. This game does not just run like Crash Bandicoot, the PlayStation game, in, you know, modern graphic style. It's actually completely rebuilt, and like they did a load of work to do that.
Like if you get to the credits of this game, they go on for a very long time.
Oh yeah, yes they do. So what was your guys' first exposure to Crash Bandicoot back in the day? Like, I know mine was PlayStation 1. I don't know if it was bundled with my PlayStation when I got it, or if it was just like one of the games that I snagged, but yeah, I played it back in the day a lot with my dad. That was one of our games that we went and played.
So, me and Nate didn't grow up with a PlayStation as early as the Nintendo 64. Our first 3D console was the N64. We went back and bought the PlayStation with money I saved from a summer trip at one point. So, like, it took us a while before we got to PlayStation 1 games. So, we didn't have as much nostalgia for the PS1 as the N64. Crash is a series, though, that we were just like, yeah, these are the platforms of the system. We bought them. We had the trilogy at one point, the same as we had the Spyro trilogy. And so we definitely had these relatively contemporaneously with the series. Like, if we didn't have them when they came out, we must have bought them at Funko Land or EB Games or one of those places. We had them like a couple years after they came out.
Okay. I want to. I didn't get them right away either, unless because it was this weird time in my life where, like, the PlayStation was technically mine, but my dad was buying games and playing games on it. So obviously, like, I was just playing the stuff that he probably, you know, enjoyed, which is how I ended up playing Tomb Raider and Siphon Filter and Metal Gear Solid.
Not bad picks. I mean, those are some of the all-time PlayStation 1 games for sure.
Yeah. So, you know, and then of course Crash Bandicoot. And man, if there's one thing I remember about the first game, and I was going to touch on this later, but I'll bring it up right now, is that, like, I remember this game being stupid fucking hard. And going back to it, it wasn't as hard as I remembered until I started trying to get the extras. Like, going through the levels themselves, which we'll touch on the levels, you know, I'm sure in a bit, but just, it wasn't so bad, dude. But going back and trying to get the time trials, and then there's the gem that you get for breaking every box on a level without dying. And there was more than one time I got to see that screen that said, "Hey, congratulations, you got all the boxes. Oh, but you died."
Yeah.
You motherfuckers. But I don't know, man. It's always stuck out to me as one of my favorite platforming games, and I think that the remaster was really, really good. Now, so that first opening scene I thought was incredible. When you boot the game up, just before you even get into the game, and it's like a smashing blast from the past, and it shows all the boxes and stuff, and the
Brought to you by Vicarious Visions.
Yeah, in the old graphic style, and then Crash comes in, and he's all polygonal, and he just looks old school, and stuff starts falling into that machine and coming out looking pretty. So he does the dive in there, and then comes sliding out, laying on his side like you're gonna paint him like a French girl. And he just kind of slides out there like that, and then he falls on his head, and then it's like boom, and then it brings you into the menu and stuff. What were your first thoughts like when you booted up the remaster and you saw how it looked, like especially that first level in Crash, because that first level's so goddamn iconic?
You know, the funny part about that is, to me, is this trilogy is just how I picture the series now, like the reignited trilogy. I went,
like you said, with Quake and Reignited.
like, so I went back, like, I actually got a ROM of Crash Bandicoot 1 so I could compare, and I was like, I forgot exactly how the PlayStation 1 games looked, because in my brain, for some reason, this trilogy is how the N-Sane Trilogy, not Reignited, whatever. The N-Sane Trilogy is just...
Reignited is the Spyro. I thought you were referencing the Spyro Reignited Trilogy.
That's my bad. But the N-Sane Trilogy is just how I think of the games now. Like, because I guess I've seen some gameplay of the N-Sane Trilogy, and that's just how my brain processes the game. When I went back and played the PlayStation 1, I was like, oh, this is how it's supposed to look. So I was not even surprised by the graphics. I was like, yeah, this is a beautiful game, like it should be.
But I mean, that's also what you said about Quake, too. And I think that's like the sign of a brilliant remaster, is when you make a game that feels like how you remember the game looking. Like, that's just beautiful and brilliant. And I have, like, that I agree that's exactly how this did. Like, until I looked up video of the original game, like, it felt like I was playing just recreations of the original. Yeah. Like, just with more resolution or whatever, you know? Like, you could have told me, oh, you're just playing the original game on a scaled-up emulator, and I would have bought it. I mean, then you look up what they actually did, and you're like, oh, shit, they put a lot of work into this fucking thing to make it look like that.
Yeah, it's gorgeous now. And spoiler alert for a future episode of the show, Spyro Reignited Trilogy is extremely similarly done. Like, it looks how I remember it, but if you go back and look at videos, oh my god.
You know, my whole experience with Spyro, I do have the Reignited Trilogy, I just haven't played it, but my experience with Spyro was a fucking demo of the first Spyro game. That was what I played, and I played the shit out of that demo. So I look forward to playing those one day.
Open world. So it's just like so expansive. Yeah. And like I feel like Spyro and Crash are like conceptually very opposite games. Like the ideas that Crash or that Spyro grew into would become like Banjo-Kazooie and games like that, you know? Yep. Whereas Crash Bandicoot is a very focused Crash Bandicoot basically becomes Mario Maker.
I see that for sure. Yeah.
I could get that. So, do you guys have any favorite levels or favorite bosses? You might. Okay, so if you don't know the level by name, that's fine. But like, if you want to kind of let's throw a description out there.
Yeah, I definitely have a favorite, and it's one that I mentioned a little bit earlier because I do think it was groundbreaking and completely different than anything I'd ever seen in a platformer before, which was the boulders level, which is basically like the Indiana Jones. You're being chased by the boulder, and I remember it being a lot harder than it was. I don't remember it being signposted as well. But I played it on the PlayStation 1 emulator as well, and it was pretty much one for one recreated. So it was better designed than I originally thought it was.
Dude, that is exactly the experience I had. Like, the main levels I remembered being, like, the most striking levels. I remembered thinking they were unfair. It was the boulder coming at you levels. And when we played the game, like, at least the first two of them, I played the boulder levels in the game. And I was like, these are really well signposted. Like, you have the time to make the jumps. The jumps are more readable than jumps into the background, I felt like. Like, yeah. I honestly thought that the boulder levels were, like, high points of the game, and I was expecting, like, I remember them being gimmicky in my head, but coming back and playing them like this, I was like, these levels are actually sick. They're really intelligently designed, really well done, really smart, and really cool, and, like, the time pressure the boulder puts on you doesn't feel unfair. Like, it worked out in a really cool way, and, like, yeah, I don't know. I played those using the joystick, but like I think you could play those on the D-pad, and they'd also be.
Yeah, I was actually going to mention joystick versus D-pad because I remember playing back. This Crash Bandicoot one's an old PlayStation game. It came out before the days of DualShock, so you were playing this on.
It does not support the.
Yeah, you were playing this on a D-pad. I played through this entire game on the thumbsticks myself this time, and when I went back to the PS1 version, you did have to play it on the D-pad. It makes a world of difference. It truly does. Like, this type of 3D platformer, I think, needs, for a modern gamer, a thumbstick. So I'm glad that is a really good thing that came from this series, too.
Well, the irony, though, is most of the other levels I felt better playing with a thumbstick than with a D-pad anyway. It was just the boulder levels that I really felt needed that extra precision.
See, I caught myself using the D-pad a lot on the levels that were side-scrolling.
Especially the side-scrolling and the ones like the temple level where you kind of are in the background and forward and all that. Like, And all the bonus levels, all the Tana's levels, all of Engage's levels. Like, I couldn't imagine playing those.
So I played everything stick this time.
The Engage levels are such a pain in the ass compared to the Tana levels.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, they're like the Tana levels are a breeze in comparison.
I think that's intentional. I think like Tana's levels are the easiest, Embryo's are the middle levels, and then the Engage levels are the hardest ones. Or whatever it's fucking
Neocortex.
Yeah,
Cortex, yeah.
Yeah, Engage.
I said the Engage, which is the Nokia cell phone.
There was an Elder Scrolls game released for that.
Oh my god, was there really?
Yes, there was. It was called like Elder Scrolls Travels. I think it was one or two of them.
I bet you could play Skyrim on
it.
God.
So I think if I had to pick a favorite level from Crash 1, dude, honestly, it's probably the first level.
It's so iconic. It's so iconic.
Like, I know that level like the back of my hand. It's the only level in the entire game that this playthrough I got all the boxes, and I got the platinum speed time for it. I beat that fucker in 24 seconds.
We should definitely mention they added a speed run like thing to this version of the game where you can like redo the level and then like get like a certain time frame in it.
Yeah, and I don't think that was in the original Crash 1.
No, this is new to this one.
It definitely is in Crash 3. So I don't know. Yeah, they definitely retro put that in there. Because in Crash 3 there are the gems for getting all the boxes, and then there's the you get the onks for doing the speed run times, which can be a bitch.
Yeah, the onks were added to this game though, like retroactively, which is kind of neat.
I didn't go for any of the speed time stuff in this one.
No, I didn't either. I wanted to beat all the levels. I didn't even beat all the levels. Spoilers, I played the game for about 2 hours. You two got a lot further than I did, but like,
yeah,
there's a lot of games.
It's a longer game than I remembered it being too. I did beat it completely. Yeah, but it is longer than I thought it would be.
I was attempting to do at least go through and get all the box gems. I quickly gave the fuck up on that when, like I said, I got the 2 levels in a row that were like, hey, you got them all, but you died. Sorry, doesn't count. Go fuck it.
I also think it has a backtracking mechanic too that I'm not super fond of, where there's some gems that you have to get before you can go back to previous levels and get the other ones. It's not one of my favorite mechanics. I wish I could just play that level and get everything the first time through, but it is what it is.
Yeah, 5 out of the 6 of the colored gems are in the 3rd island of the 3 islands.
Yeah.
So unless you get the colored gems, you can't get every box in each world. And I think also, like, get all boxes is kind of, I don't know, less satisfying than, I don't know, grab all coins or something. Like, I don't know. There's just something about it that seems a little weirdly artificial.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, but smashing boxes kind of became Crash's thing.
Yeah.
True. I mean, true. I'm not saying that it's like a bad gameplay mechanic. I'm just saying I think that there may have been a middle way to do 100% of the level that just wasn't that.
Well, I do appreciate the fact that it is mostly visible things that you can find, and I think there's good enough hints for the ones that aren't quite visible to be able to find the boxes, rather than, oh, you have to jump off of this, like, say a Super Mario World hidden exits thing, where there's some of those hidden exits I don't know how you'd find unless you had a neighbor that already knew it or whatever.
That's true.
Quick question, Nate. Towards the end of the game, it's like the level before you fight Cortex, or the level before the level you fight Cortex. The fucking end of the level's right in front of you. Did you just hop across and hop on it and finish that level like that?
Is that the one in the hallway where you have to do like the metal boxes to make platforms appear and like open doors?
It must be, because I don't remember that, because I just hopped across and just hopped in the thing and went.
I don't think I did, no.
No. Yeah, because you could just hop right across and just in the level like immediately.
No.
And I was like, what the fuck? All right, well, that works. So let's talk about some of the bosses.
Yeah.
The first boss that popped up was the iconic, I don't even know what he would be, like an islander or whatever, Papa.
Yeah, it's like an island chieftain or whatever.
Yeah, and that fight, I remember like thinking it was a pain in the ass when I was a kid.
You just literally jump on him 3 times. He doesn't hit you if you just jump immediately.
Yeah. So like, yeah, and I remember once I figured it out as a kid, I was like, oh, dude, I'll never have an issue with this again. And then, yeah, when I went through it this time, it was like, bop, 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 dead.
Like, oh, it's over. And the funny thing is, like, I also remember that being a tougher fight. So I made sure when I played on the PS1 to play back up through Papu Papu. No, it's that easy on the PS1 version. It really is. Like, there is literally no difference between those two fights. It's ridiculous, because I remember that being a lot worse than it was, but it was really just as simple as we made it out to be. You just jump on Papu Papu 3 times, he can't really hit you.
Yeah, as long as you can avoid that big spinny attack, which is not that hard to avoid.
I never even let him finish the spinning attack. You just jump on him, and he's like, he doesn't move.
I died more times to the backswing on the Papu Papu's attack than anything else.
Oh, yeah, the backswing will get you.
Because I just did not realize I had to wait for him to pull it up.
My personal least favorite, I love the character, but I hate his fucking fight, is the second boss.
Ripperoo?
Is Ripperoo.
Yeah. The fight's not fun.
I love Ripperoo as the character.
Because it's just, you have to memorize what things he
because he has a pattern that is set. It's not like he follows Crash. It's not like that. There is a set pattern that you start to realize, so you know when to jump on the TNT to set it off where he'll get hit by it.
I do think Ripperoo was the neatest design of all the bosses. Like, and like, it also kind of made me think of like, oh shit, 90s cartoon, Australia. He's Rocco's Modern Life.
And then the boss after that is Koala Kong,
which is, dude, I got fucked up by Koala Kong a couple times because I just got like the shoot back mechanic is a little unfair. Where it's like I got cock blocked by a little fucking minecart taking my hit for him a couple times.
Yeah, you got a time.
And, I don't know, like. Yeah, but like I got too conservative with the timing too, and it was just like, oh no, he just gets right back into it. So you have to, I don't know.
Yeah, I died a few times.
You have to respect it without over-respecting it. That just sucks.
He was fun though. Like
I thought the boss fights were pretty good in this game.
They're not bad.
Speaking, like
they're more creative than
the levels I've.
They're more creative than most Mario bosses ever have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're basically Mario Galaxy level boss
like
fights.
Ancient, well before Mario Galaxy ever came out.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I mean, if anything, the things I've had the most annoyance with were like mid platforming levels, like Temple Ruin and the Sky level that came after that, where it was just like a little bit too strict. And I think the biggest frustration I had was like, when I handled a really difficult platforming challenge, I didn't feel like, yeah, I fucking nailed it. I just felt like, oh, okay, I guess the thing that fucked up didn't happen that time. Like, I didn't get as much satisfaction out of beating the harder platforming as I would have liked.
Dude, there was so you know how sometimes when you go through a level and you're having issues, when you finally beat it, Crash will go, phew, and he'll like wipe his brow and go, shoo. Dude, I literally beat a level and went, phew, like that at the same time Crash did. Like, without even meaning to. I was just like, oh, shit.
I love that. I don't know, I think like, some of the middle levels were a little obnoxious. Especially the bridge in the Sky level was fucking annoying as hell. Like, that was a bad level.
That's not a fun level, and I wish you would have known about the cheese strats before you did it.
Cheesing it's not easy either, though, because I fell off so many fucking times because I would accidentally tilt my thumbstick to the wrong direction. That was a time where using the D-pad was nice because I could just go up and he would just run straight and I wasn't fucking it up.
But I mean, even if you just did it straight like I did, it felt like a really annoying Mario World level, like the worst and most annoying, but you're behind him. I don't know, it that was not one of the ones that transcended the game. And I think also in general a problem I have with the game is that it's a little hard sometimes to scope out forward jumps, like jumps into the background. Like sometimes they look way shorter than they actually
gauging depth is pretty difficult in this game.
Well, just there's like a neat cartoony graphic style that occasionally makes things look way flatter than they actually are. But that's my biggest complaint. Like, aside from that, I had a fucking load of fun, to be honest.
Speaking of cheese, though, real quick, in Crash 3 in Warped, there's a boss fight where you're fighting against, I don't remember his name, but he's like a lion. It's a lion guy in the Coliseum. Oh, it's Tiny.
I remember Tiny
in the Coliseum. So when he releases the lions and they come at you, if you run to the front left corner of the map and just stand in that corner and run in that corner, the lions can't hit you. And it's like a way to cheese the boss. So in the remaster of 3 in the N-Sane Trilogy, if you do that, the crowd starts pelting you with cheese.
That's a really good touch.
And I was like, yeah, that's brilliant. So the next boss after Koala Kong was Pinstripe Potoroo.
That one was kind of a pain. I didn't like that one as much as the other ones. Because it was basically just hide behind a piece of furniture, wait for your opportunity where his gun is out of ammo, and punch him, and then run and hide again.
Yeah, and God forbid you didn't stand behind the right part of the chair and a bullet hit you, and you fucking died.
Yeah, I had several attempts on that where I just got hit for what seemed like no good reason.
Yeah, same here. And he was a bit of a bitch, but like, I remember when I beat him, I was like, all right. But I take back what I said about Ripperoo. My least favorite fucking boss fight in this entire game was fucking Dr. Nitrous, or Embryo.
My only problem with that is he has 2 phases, and it took me several tries to figure out how to damage his second phase.
Yeah. Oh, you just like fucking had to jump on his head, right?
Yeah, but there was no real indication for that. Like, you had to stand on...
Oh, yeah, no.
Like, and I was just like, do I spin on him? Nope, spinning got me killed. What do I do?
So it feels like a quarter muncher game from something that isn't actually an arcade game.
Yeah, and if you don't jump on his head right, like if you don't jump high enough, it'll kill you too. It's a pain.
Yeah, the first phase I liked a lot. I thought the first phase was a really good boss fight. The second phase just felt like, why'd they do this?
Yeah, why? Yeah, that's... And then the only other boss in the game, if you don't count Stormy Ascent, is Dr. Neo Cortex. And that fight, that fight took me a good few tries, but once I learned the pattern and kind of got the pattern down, I beat his ass.
Yeah, it wasn't bad once you knew what to do. Like, but there was a few times like when you're starting off, like he shoots like 3 different colored like lasers, I guess you'd call them, where one of them is purple and that just shoots straight to where he's shooting it. Then there's the blue one which kind of like goes off to the side of the screen, then comes back on and either goes straight or does like a vertical movement, like sine wave type of movement. And then the green one, which is the one that you can hit back at him. But that's also trial and error. If you don't know you can hit back the green one, you're just going to dodge it like everything else.
Yeah, which I did the first couple.
Same.
Which I did the first couple. And then it gets to the point where like one's not good enough, so you hit it and then you have to hit another one to combine with that one, and then that'll hit him. And it builds up and he starts shooting more shit at you. So it becomes like a slight little bullet hell, if you want to call it that. Like a very miniature bullet hell there for a second at the very end. But what
Tiny Toho.
You get
Tiny Toho, I like
that. You beat him and you're reignited with your girlfriend and all is right in the world. At least as far as you know. And
she never appears in the series again.
Yeah, it's because Crash was so happy he fucked her to death.
Oh my god.
Finally.
So, I know you probably didn't, Willie, but Dalton, did you attempt Stormy Ascent at all?
Yes, I did.
How did you do?
I got to the 2nd or 3rd checkpoint and then said, fuck this shit.
So if we haven't explained Stormy Ascent is a bonus level that was originally built for the original game, but it was about 4 times longer and way harder than most levels, so they just kind of cut it. It was available in Game Shark if you played the original game, but you couldn't get it normally. They just kind of removed it. But they added it for this. It's one of the 2 things they added for one of the, trilogy bonus things along with another level from part 3, I think.
Well, so since Dalton talked so much shit on me, said about hard platformers, I had to play it. I did beat Stormy Ascent. And let me just say, some mad wicked bullshit parts of it.
Yeah, it is.
Mad wicked bullshit.
I didn't think most of it was too bad. I actually had a lot of fun. It was challenging platforming. There's stuff you had to have really, really good timing on, like especially jumping off of like the vultures and stuff in the background to make it across some gaps. But that didn't bother me at all. The only thing that really sucked for me was the final checkpoint. So, like, I don't know how you were supposed to do it. I'm thinking it must have been like frame perfect jumping or something. Because, like, there was this one section close to the very end. Like, even, like, it was like the last 3 jumps of the stage where, like, there were 2 of those platforms that go out of the wall, into the wall, out of the wall, into the wall. But they were on the same cycle, going out in at a space where you can't really jump it the way that you would normally do it unless I think there must have been like a frame perfect input to get it to land. So I died there several times until I had like, you know how when the game starts feeling pity for you after you die several times in a level and it gives you the Akuaku mask. So like I had the Akuaku mask. So there were also those spike things that you could actually stand on them under the platform. So I just decided to damage boost, take that spike, then jump on it, and made it to the end of the level. I don't know how you were supposed to do that without damage boosting. Like, unless, like I said, it was a frame perfect jump, which sucked.
I watched Rosie from PlayStation Access do it on a stream one time. I don't remember how she did it, though.
Well, that doesn't help me.
But she might have done it.
Treachery and cheating.
She might have done it the exact same way you did. I don't quite remember. Yep. But I remember she had like 2 lives left and then finally made it.
Yeah, I had more than 2 lives left, but like that's the only way I could figure how to do it. Like I think I started with like 80 lives on Stormy Ascent. I think I ended with like 40. So like I'm not going to say I did an amazing job and it was a breeze, but I think it was really fun until that last checkpoint. There was just a lot of challenging stuff. That was actually, for the most part, sight readable, which is the sign of a good level design.
Yeah.
That is good, yeah.
I'll tell you, another level that was in Crash, just real quick because we skipped over it and I forgot to bring it up, that I thought was really cool was, like, I think it's called Lights Out.
Oh, the one where you had to grab the Akuaku mask that actually lit the room up? Yeah.
Yeah, because everything's dark if you don't have your mask. And I can't tell you how many times I grabbed the mask, be like, all right, and immediately run into a hole because I didn't look ahead when I grabbed it. Fuck! I lost like 15 lives on that level for stupid reasons. Like, none of them were like deserved deaths. They were all just stupid fucking reasons.
Okay, and if you went too slow on the level, you got screwed. Because like I did that, took my time on one because there was a lot of enemy spam coming at me, so I just went slow. My mask wore off and I couldn't see, and I was like, well, looks like I'm walking into a hole.
Yeah, because I mean, you can if you really look at the screen, you can kind of see shadows and stuff, but it doesn't. You can't see holes in the ground.
Yeah,
it's brutal, but fun. That level's a cool level. Like I liked that. I thought it was innovative.
Innovative. So that's the word for the day. Innovative.
But yeah, man. I mean, I know I looked through this game with nostalgia glasses, but like it still holds up in my opinion. And this remake or remaster, whatever you want to call it, was fucking tremendous. Like I couldn't have asked for a better redesign of this game, personally.
I mean, I feel like you definitely get the idea of why this game was popular when it was, and like you get the full feeling of the level design and all of that, and maybe you don't always love every level of the game, because Lord knows I didn't, but I came out of this with a lot of respect for the designers, for sure. Oh, by the way, do you know what they called this game when it was in development before they actually came up with Crash Bandicoot?
No, what was it?
So this was on the Wikipedia page as well, so if you go and look at it, I'm sourcing this from Wikipedia, so this may be wrong. But when they originally came up with the idea of the game, they were like, okay, so it's a game for you jumping into the background. That's like the main game mechanic, right? So it's basically a game where you're looking at Sonic's ass the whole time. So we call it Sonic's Ass Game.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And Sonic's Ass Game was the working title for quite a while when they were making it.
Also, there's
I thought you'd like that.
There's an interview with Arx Takana, with the guy who did Crash Bandicoot. I don't remember his name. It might have been Dan Tanguay or it might have been Dave Calvin. One of those guys. He told this...
Dave Calvin. That's just Dave and Alvin of the Chipmunks.
He told the story about how... when they were doing Crash Bandicoot on the original PlayStation, that there are like ways that he took RAM and stuff like that from inside the PlayStation and used coding in the disc to have it pull from the PlayStation so he could make like certain parts of the game run smoother.
Oh, wow.
And so he could keep the game at a speed of 60 frames a second, that it would literally turn other things off in the PlayStation.
Yeah, it's obviously a technological marvel when you look at it. Like, it does shit that the PlayStation wouldn't be doing for 2 more years.
Yeah.
Like, I think the original game came out in, like, 1996, and it was doing shit, like, from not decades, but it was doing shit from years later. Like, it is a really optimized, really well-coded game, obviously.
Oh, yeah. if is there anything else you guys want to touch on about this before we give it into a rating?
We got it covered, my dude.
All right.
I feel like we've nailed it. We've told everyone it's a fantastic adaptation of a fantastic old game, and I think that how you feel about this game is just going to come down to whether you think it holds up today.
Yep. I'm going to give it a solid 8 Wumpa Fruit out of Aku Aku masks.
I think I'm going to have to go a little harsher just because I didn't love a lot of the stage design. I'm going to basically say, again, like, sometimes the platforming just isn't as satisfying as I would like, but, like, when it's good, it's fucking great. The audio, especially, is fantastic. Like, not just the music, but yeah, the incidental sounds, everything. And I will give it 7.5 Aku Aku masks out of 10.
I'm actually surprised that I'm giving this the highest score out of everybody. I like this game, and I respect a lot of what it did. I think you can't deny that Crash Bandicoot was impactful for the future of platformers, and it did things. I do think it did things a lot that no other platformer had done before, and for those reasons, I give it an 8.5 Aku Akus out of Wumpa Fruits. But it's just mostly because, like, I think it holds up. It's still really fun. I think it has its problems for sure, but I think what it did for platformers moving forward was huge, because I just think there was a lot of things that it did that nobody had done before. I know you don't think so, but I kind of do.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what's up, gentlemen. That is our Crash Bandicoot stuffs. Now let me get these old show notes pulled up here. Next week was Willie's.
Oh yeah, it's my pick. So I guess I have to choose the next game. So I have chosen a game that I have played and almost beat, but haven't quite finished. I'm going to delete my own save file on it too, so we're all at the same level when we play it. It's a little indie game that is quite fun called Downwell.
Nice. Okay. That's one I've been looking forward to playing for quite a while. It's been sitting in my Steam library. I've never played it. So I'm pretty happy to get that one checked off and see what that's all about, because it sounds really cool.
I don't know if you like the fucking cartridge system from Gato Roboto. That's in this game as well, basically. So.
Oh yeah, that'll be cool. I look forward to it, man. Then let's see. Okay, let's give a special shout out to our Patreons.
Of course. What's up, Patreons?
Shout out to all you guys, with an extra special shout out to Nate Sir Cogsworth, 7th of Juniper, Jeff, the original expendable old Jeffy Lube himself. Thank you for the boost in your pledge.
Big enthusiast Jeff.
And then Arizo Adam. Shout out to his podcast, Revival and Extinction.
Hell yeah.
He just did
Extinction. I believe they're covering Arceus.
Yep, he just did a review on Pokemon Arceus.
Yep, I gave it a listen already. It's a good episode. I recommend you check it out.
Yep.
Shit, yeah.
Yep, for sure. He's a good dude, and plus he has an Australian accent, and who doesn't love Australian accents?
Crikey.
And, if you want to join the Patreon...
That's racist.
Sorry, Adam.
I have been watching a lot of Crocodile Hunter recently. I just got this whim to watch it the other day. It's been wonderful. If you want to join our Patreon, it's patreon.com/The Steam Machine Podcast. Just $1 a month gets you the episodes early, and you get to hear our little bullshit before we start. Here lately, I've been finding little lists to go through and things like that. It's been a good fun time.
I believe today we did a top 15 difficult platformers thing or some shit like that.
Yep, and a list of the top Crash games.
Yeah, before we forget, extra shout outs to the original expendable Jeffy Lube for the boost in his pledge this week.
That's right.
Oh, okay, yeah, I did say that, but I believe Willie was also saying, "Hey, Jeffy Lube" at the same time, so I think it just started out. But thank you for saying it audibly, though. I appreciate that.
I thought we forgot. I just wanted to make sure we got that in there, because you the man, Jeff.
And also,
big hugs.
Also, I do want to send a shout out to our buddy Paulsh, because I'm recording this through an M-Track Solo, which he got me for me and him to do some music together and stuff. So if my mic sounds especially good this week, thank him. And if it sounds awful, send him your hate tweets.
Yeah, Dalton just continually outpacing us in the microphone department with me and Willie and our blue snowballs.
Hey, you guys sound good though, man. You're very easy to edit, which is nice on my behalf. So let's see, where was I at? Patreon. Oh, okay, yes. If you want to come join the Discord, it's
You should.
bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all capital letters.
We have votes on some of our episodes, although lately I think we're doing more host picks, but we are still taking votes for games each month, so definitely show up, and also just fucking come and hang out. We've made a new channel for the Pokemon games because there's been so much Pokemon chat.
I did that so I could avoid spoilers.
That's smart.
So I just kind of pop in there from time to time.
But there's also pictures of pizzas, and there's also just like fucking people that know way too much shit about fighting games and anime are just like talking all that knowledge. It's crazy up in there.
Also, like, if you're listening to this and you're a music head, please come join and talk to me on the music channel. It's very lonely in there. I'm the only person posting anything. But yeah, I love our Discord, man. Everybody's super awesome, and I believe the game that's winning their poll, which the listener poll will be the game after Downwell, is going to be, I believe it's Star Wars Jedi Outcast 2.
Yeah, Star Wars Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast.
Yeah. Yeah, so that game is like renowned for, I think, having the best lightsaber combat up until the newest Star Wars game came out.
Wow, I actually never played Jedi Outcast. I played Jedi Knight 1, and I played Dark Forces 1. This is exciting.
Also, the current show poll, the one's going to be the next long game after Jedi Knight 2, is extremely close right now. There's like a 1 vote separation between Amnesia: The Dark Descent and Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 1. So if you want to see one of those games more than the other, get in there and take a vote, because that is really close right now.
Yeah,
huge difference between those two games too. Like, damn.
Yeah, one is a happy-go-lucky JRPG with some cute anime girls, and the other one is an abysmal horror game that's gonna fucking seep at our souls, or at least it used to be. I don't know if it still holds up. We'll see, but
it's gotta be better than Blair Witch.
Yeah, hopefully. But poor old...
You're making that face like we didn't play any good horror games. Come on, this October we did some good ones.
Oh,
you like that one with the Blair Witch style graphics, so the PlayStation 1.
Speaking of Blair Witch, on the old Abandonware site that I was perusing the other day, there are 3 Blair Witch games that came out back in the day that are like semi-based on the movies.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh, download these, check these out in my own time, see what the fuck's going on with this.
Just don't kick the map into the river.
Okay, I won't. You know, I was just for vague things like that. I was reading a non-spoiler like hint guide for Persona 3 the other day just to see if there's anything I need to know. And one of the people was like, "Have fun, do the game, play it how you want to play it, but don't hug her." And I was like, "Don't hug her? What the fuck is that alluding to?" So now now every time I'm playing, I'm like, "Okay, is she gonna ask me to hug her? Because if not, I'm not gonna.
You're gonna hug her.
You know
you will.
I'll hug everyone that listens to this podcast. I'm the hugging king.
Yeah.
I'm the Bailey of hugs. Wait, Bailey is already the Bailey of hugs.
Not anymore though. It's an open market.
Oh shit! Really?
So real quick, a few quick more links, then I'm gonna pass it over to you guys to do your plugs and stuff. If you like the intro music to the show, go to nilethenightmare.bandcamp.com. You can pick up my music there. If you want some merch and you want like a cool shirt with our logo on it, or like just the one with Steamy on it or anything like that, you can go to tsmpproductions.threadless.com and you can find all kinds of merch on there for our stuff, and some of my stuff for Nile the Nightmare as well, I believe. And if you don't want to remember all of those links that I just said to you, and if you just want them all in one succinct place, it's bit.ly/The Steam Machine Podcast, capitalized phonetically. You're good to go. All the shit's on there. It's our website. You can find our episodes on there. You can find links, all that jazz. And speaking of links, there's a link on there to one Turtle Bear Man's Twitch, which I'm going to let him plug now.
Yeah, if you like the retro game garbage like me, come follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/TurtleBearMan. Also post on Twitter and TikTok, so those are fun places to find me. Also, Turtle Bear Man.
And Willie, you got any recs or anything you want to throw out there this week? Any plugs?
Man, I don't have anything of my own to plug, but I think I mentioned it a while back, but if anyone's looking for a cool Doom mod to play, Time Tripper is so fucking sick. Like, just play Time Tripper. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah. And if I have a recommendation this week for anybody, and I know it's not Halloween anymore, but go on YouTube and search Rhett and Link. Everybody knows who fucking Rhett and Link is, and if you don't, it's Good Mythical Morning, guys. They have a video called Rhett and Link's Night of Terror, and it's a little horror short film that they did on TikTok in little sections, but then they compiled them all together and put it up onto YouTube. It's like 22 minutes long. It's very entertaining, and the song that's in it will haunt you, and it's so fucking good.
Boo.
So
You're haunted.
that's my rec for the week. Boo.
Boo. I'm scared.
Better say goodbye when you're talking to me through the Ouija board, or I'm going to haunt your ass forever. Phasmophobia joke. Anyway, before we fall any down the... I can't even talk. All right, we're going to wrap it up here for the Brothers
sanity.
of Destruction. I am Dalton, and as always, guys, take it easy.